Have you ever reached a point in your life where everything in the outside looks the same, but something on the inside has quietly shifted? Not in a dramatic way, nothing has fallen apart, nothing is obviously broken, and yet something doesn't feel right anymore. There's a subtle discomfort, a quiet restlessness, almost like life is gently tapping you on the shoulder, saying, there is more. Then the questions begin. Am I too old to start again? What if I fail? What will people think? And perhaps the most dangerous of all, what if I leave what I have and it doesn't work out and I lose all my money? Today, we are talking about starting over after 50. Not when you feel ready, not when everything is clear, not when fear has disappeared, but when you feel uncertain and maybe even a little bit scared. Because that moment you are in right now, that uncomfortable, restless space, that is not the end of your story. That is the beginning of something new. Let's start by grounding this in something important. If you feel resistance when you think about change, there's nothing wrong with you. Your brain is doing exactly what it was designed to do. It is wired for safety, for predictability, for survival. So when you even consider changing your life, your brain doesn't see opportunity, it sees risk. That is why you feel hesitation, why you overthink, why you procrastinate, why you talk yourself out of things you actually want. But here is where it gets interesting, and this is backed by science. Research on neuroplasticity shows that your brain remains capable of change throughout your entire life. You can still learn, you can still adapt, you can still build new patterns. In fact, people over 50 often make better decisions. They regulate emotions more effectively. They draw from life experience. They carry a deeper kind of resilience. So, the idea that you are too old, that's not science. That is fear, dressed up as logic. Let me ask you something honestly. Where in your life are you staying? Because it's familiar, not because it's fulfilling? Let's go one layer deeper, because aging itself is often misunderstood. Scientifically, aging is defined as the gradual decline of the body's psychological functions over time. That's natural, that's universal. But, and this is important, aging is not the same as disease. Conditions like heart disease, diabetes, or even certain cancers are not inevitable outcomes of aging. They are influenced strongly by lifestyle, environment, and daily habits. And this is where your power lies. Researchers across the world consistently point out 5 key drivers of healthy aging. Not luck, not genetics alone, but daily life choices. Movement. Your body is designed to move. Even moderate activity improves brain function, cardiovascular life, and longevity. Strength. After 50, we naturally lose muscle mass. But strength training can reverse much of that. It protects your independence, your balance, and your confidence. Connection. Loneliness is now recognized as a major health risk. Strong relationships is not just emotional. They are biological protection. Nutrition. Food is not just fuel. This is information for your body. Whole foods support everything from energy to immune function to mental clarity. And then purpose. This one is powerful. People with a sense of purpose live longer, recover faster, and stay more engaged with life. Purpose is not just emotional, it is psychological. So here is the truth I want you to carry with you. Aging is inventable. Decline is not. Starting over is not just a practical decision. It is deeply emotional because when you begin something new, you are also letting go of something old. Old routines, old identities, old roles, and sometimes even the version of yourself you thought you would always be. And this is something I've experienced very personally with my mum. When she came to live with us, she was still strong, still capable, still independent. But more than anything, she had a serving heart and a wonderful soul. Every morning, without fail, she would make tea for Peter and carry it up the stairs to him. It wasn't about the tea. It was about contribution. It was about dignity. It was her way of saying, I still matters here. But slowly, this began to change. One morning, she didn't take the tea upstairs. Instead, she placed it at the bottom of the stairs and asked Peter to come down and fetch it. And on the surface, it seems like a small moment. But it wasn't small at all. It was a shift, not just physically, but also emotionally. Because the things she used to do without thinking became things she had to think about, and eventually things she could no longer do. And this is something we don't talk about enough. When someone moves from their own home into their child's home or into a care environment, they are not just changing location. They are navigating a quiet loss of independence, identity and control. And if we are not intentional, that loss doesn't just affect the body, it affects the spirit too. So we made a conscious decision. We stopped focusing on what she could no longer do. We started focusing on helping her still feel needed. We kept her socially connected. We took her to her hairdresser. We created moments where she could still contribute. Even something as simple as saying, Mum, will you please make the tea? Because the real question is not what can she still do. The real question is, how do we help her still feel that she matters? Starting over is not one big decision. It's a process. Most people move through 5 distinct phases. First, awareness. Something doesn't feel right. Then, number 2 is resistance. You ignore it. You stay where it's comfortable because that's easy. Then 3 comes disruption. Sometimes forces your attention, burnout, loss, emotional exhaustion. After that exploration, you begin asking, what else is possible for me? And finally, number 5, reinvention. You take action, not perfectly, but consistently. So let me ask you this. Which phase are you in right now? We don't judge, we just want you to be aware. We often believe that we need confidence before we act, but that is not how it works. Confidence does not become before action. It comes because of action. And I learned that very personally through starting Thrive. I did not grow up in front of a camera. In fact, even having my photo taken made me feel uncomfortable. So imagine standing in front of a camera, speaking, recording, and then watching yourself back. It felt completely unnatural. Even though I had a background in teaching, this was totally different because this was personal and there was nowhere to hide. I remember my first video. I didn't know where to look. I didn't know how I sounded. I overanalyzed everything, and when I watch it back, I cried because it felt, and it was awful. That video was never published. I thought, maybe I'm too old. Maybe this is not for me. What will people think? But something inside me said, just try one more time. Not perfect, just one more time. And then something shifted. One video became another, and slowly I stopped focusing on myself and start focusing on the person on the other side of the screen. Fear didn't disappear, but it stopped being in control because I realized something powerful. Fear doesn't mean stop. Most of the time it means this matters. Let's make it practical, because inspiration without action is just entertainment. Here are 5 ways to begin. Start small. You don't need to change your entire life overnight. You just need to take one small step. Redefine failure. Failure is not the opposite of success. It is feedback. It is part of the process. Use your experience. You are not starting from zero. You are starting from a place of wisdom. Build a bridge. You don't need to jump. You can transition slowly and intentionally. Change your environment. Growth is shaped by what surrounds you, your people, your habits, your space. So let me ask you this. What is one small step you can take this week? Let's make this even more practical, because starting over does not happen in one big decision. It happens in small, steady steps. Here is how you begin. 1. Choose one area. Not everything, just one. Your health, your work, your relationship, or your purpose. Focus on one place you change matters the most. Number 2. Take one small action. Not a big leap, not a perfect plan, just one action. Make the call, send the email, go for the walk, sign up for the class. Small action, build confidence. Number 3, allow fear to be present. Fear is not a sign to stop. It is a signal that something matters to you. You don't need to remove fear. You just need to move with it. Step number 4, repeat it tomorrow. Change is not one decision. It is repetition. One step today, one step tomorrow, one step next week. Consistently creates momentum. Step number 5, trust the process. You don't need to see the whole path. You just need to take the next step. Because starting over is not about speed. It is about direction. Wherever you are in the world, the truth remains the same. There is no age limit on becoming who you were meant to be. More people over 50 than ever before are starting businesses, changing direction, choosing purpose, prioritizing their health. This is not the closing chapter of your life. This is your freedom chapter. There is something I've come to understand. Starting over does not always look bold. Sometimes it is quiet, like a cup of tea left at the bottom of the stairs. A moment where life gently asks you to adjust before you feel ready. And sometimes it is standing in front of a camera, feeling completely unsure and choosing to begin anyway. And in those moments, we all face the same question. Now what? We can hold on who we were, or we can step into who we are becoming. Because starting over is not about becoming someone new. It's about finally becoming who you always meant to be. You are not behind. You are not too old. You are not finished. You are simply in a moment of becoming. And becoming takes courage. Let's all keep on thriving. Thank you for watching.